to our GDP. Do you know? But do you know that our farmers are one of the major contributors to our GDP? Of course you know that, for you are the judges. So your team second string, I'm Ankita. With me there is Maisha, Shekhat and Nalvi. And Maisha will be talking about the case now. Okay.
So I'm basically going to talk about the situational analysis, and what we have found and what we have analyzed from the situation given to us were Bangladesh has a lot of big microfinance organizations and providers, but the agricultural sector does not get that much of the attention they deserve. They are being neglected. And also the microfinance has proved themselves as beneficial to many sectors, many important economic sectors. Moving on. The problem identification. Problem identification for our borrowers are basically those who need it, not get it on time. That is, before the cultivation starts, they need to buy pesticides and seeds and many other things. That's when they need the loan, but they don't get that. Moving on to lack of awareness about microfinance and its benefits. They are very much not aware about what microfinance can do and how microfinance can help them. The lack of transparency about the procedures. The procedures are very lengthy and there is a big, huge lack of transparency there. And the answer is from the system. In many microfinance organizations, there is a system of installment where the people have to install weekly, which is very unfair on them because it's not possible. Moving on to lenders. Negative view on microfinance from the borrowers. It is a very big problem for the lenders. Then irregular payback expenses and decreasing payback rates. Many of the people who borrow do not pay back on time, and many of them even don't pay back at all. So this is a huge disadvantage for them. Also, they haven't yet covered many potential clients because the area is mapped and improper use of lend funds. Moving on. So our possible solution. What should we do? So we have come up with this big idea, which is launching the Tonrai Shankha Barishto campaign. Why Tonrai Shankha Barishto campaign? Because farmers, these are the people who are special. These are the people who are in majority. We are an agricultural country. These people help us in a lot of ways we are not even aware about. They help us economically, they help us in our healthy living process regularly. They contribute more GDP than the private and public sectors of our Bangladesh do. And with that, we are launching a seasonal loan campaign, which should be explained by my teammates further. Thank you. That's all from me.
Sir, there is a misconception about our farmers that they are primarily male, but according to the latest reports, there are about 41% of our farmers are female actually. So this is pretty basic. We are actually targeting the rural areas and both male and female farmers. So here is our campaign, the plan. The tagline is Tonrai Shankha Barishto. This tagline will help the farmers connect to the campaign. They will feel empowered through this tagline, we believe. And some of the things about the campaign. We will start the campaign actually on the month of June, but before that, we will release a free promotional phase which will run for 2 months, the months of April and the month of May. This is basically in front of the basic cultivating season, which starts on the month of July in Bangladesh. So we're actually trying to give out the loans on June. So we're trying to start the campaign on the month of April. So moving on. So as in the month of June, we will basically give out our loans. So
we have actually divided our campaign into 3 parts. That is, the first one is educating. That is like awareness program. That is like letting them know that this exists. And microfinancial program can help you in many ways, which you do not know about. And the second is implementing. We will make sure that they are using our idea, and the providers, we talk about that, how it will benefit. And next, the monitoring. We don't want the providers' money to lose, and we don't want them to make a loss. So that there will be monitoring. So the first thing, that is the educating part. What we will be doing is we will be associating with some NGOs, because these are the people who actually talk to these farmers on a regular basis. They go from home to home, and we will be taking those people who can actually speak their native language so that they can understand them better. They will let them know that this thing exists and this is how this is the procedure and you have to do it like commercial and programs. These people are actually not very much into television. In the rural areas, they're more into radio and this thing. So there will be radio commercials like Ramesh Hamsa Goresho and this thing. And then there is like in the textbooks in school, in primary schools, we will be introducing these new chapters, microfinancing, like the stories of successful people, how it changed their lives and everything. And the next is Matchbox promotion. That is like between a Matchbox in that area, we will be writing about the country. For example, it can be controversial, it can be something else, and it won't cost much. Six Matchbox takes one time. And then our brand ambassador will be Sheikh Shiraj. Sheikh Shiraj. He's the face of our campaign, and everyone knows him because he is into this thing. And then, like I say, people in the rural areas, they won't be wanting to see some documentaries or anything, so we will be showing them cinemas on a big projector. Maybe it can be a Friday afternoon or night, and in the interval, we will be showing them the video that will be of 2 minutes or 3 minutes, how to change your life, and Sheikh Shiraj will be talking there, like, use it, do it, and it will help you. And the next is Jatra. These people actually go to this thing they want, and we will be portraying some stories, like I say. The next thing is implementing. Like you said, seasonal loan system. For example, before the cultivation of rice, there will be this loan thing. Before the cultivation of wheat or lentils, there will be this seasonal system loan and monthly installment. 1 week we think will be too low, and 1 year will be too much because they can spend this money on other projects or something. So we have come up with this monthly installment system and the strategic alliance. That is like these farmers have this group, and so we'll be actually associating with those people. We'll be talking to them. So where they talk about their problems and everything. Next slide, we'll be monitoring. We'll be hiring some volunteers. We'll be actually overseeing if the farmers are spending the money on the right project on the right way. And sometimes these farmers actually have some problems with their crops or something, so we'll be hiring a specialist team. This specialist team will be there to, for example, to let them know about some char or something like insects are eating up their crops. So that will be it from me. Now Shaka will take over.
Thank you. So now I will present you the alternative solutions which we haven't taken. Lenders becoming partners with borrowers. This is pretty much lenders are being paid instead of interest, they are being paid in grain or any other crop, percentage of the borrower's outcome. And the next one is decreasing overall interest rates. In order to get more borrowers to come forward for the loans, we need to decrease the overall interest rates in order to attract them. Third one is allocating more loan funds to agriculture. There's a policy, there's a list in which a lot of it shows how funds are allocated to each sector. Some are infrastructure development. So this will be next slide, please. Now, why wouldn't we take all these solutions? The first one would be unfair distribution. The farmer might deem the distribution unfair. If they are taking 30% of his profit, it might seem unfair to him instead of taking the interest money. If the percentage outweighs the interest amount, then what's the use of it? Second one would be financially unfeasible and decreases profitability. Decreasing rates would be a very technical issue, and it would be very sometimes, if not done in the right amount, it would be detrimental to the whole system. The third one would be more creditworthiness in other sectors. If we allocate more funds to agriculture, there will be negligence in other sectors. There are a lot of sectors which have more creditworthiness than agriculture. Agriculture is backed up by people who cannot pay back loan amounts. That's right. So why does our idea work? Both parties benefit from our solution. Payback rates rise by a certain amount, decreasing number of defaulters, positive goodwill about microfinance, people will have a good view on it, and maximum reach. We will be able to achieve maximum reach on all people who need it. Takeaways, what do we get from this? Mitigating the gap between borrowers and lenders, increased payback rates, increased GDP, more small businesses will benefit from this microfinance. So our three phases actually contribute to how to engage the people who need microfinance, how to educate them, how to get them start working, and how to oversee the whole solution. Thank you.
have a few questions. You were suggesting that you are going to give out the loans in June, July period. Why that particular period exactly?
So the harvesting period is, we looked it up, and it was October to March. And we need get these people to start applying from an earlier date. So we need to educate them from an even earlier date, which would be around May to April and May. And then we will start giving out the loans from June and July. Because there are a lot of people to cover. It will take a lot of time to cover all of them.
That is the main time they actually start working on their teams. So before we start their project, we want to give them the funds they need. So basically that's the time we found out that the farmers are going to start working in June.
Which type of farmers are you targeting? There are a lot of type of farming that happens.
There are
So are you talking about specifically rice growers?
not only rice growers, but rice growers are the growers of our staple food, our staple product. This is like basically 56% of our whole harvest production. We are going to target them and other stuff like jute, lentils, wheat, barley, and stuff.
But these all, if I'm not mistaken, have different harvest times, different times when they are sown and different times when they are harvested as well. So if a farmer is a rice producer, maybe June, July, could be a good one, or even June, earlier it might be. But what about the other guys? Have you thought about them as well?
Like seasonal, there are different types of notes, like in different seasons. For the publication of wheat,
Second question is, you guys said that you're going to have specialists who are going to give advice to the farmers. Who are they going to be from? The lenders in particular, or is it going to be from NGOs? Or is it going to be by some other?
basically we think that the people from NGO will be good for this thing. Because NGO people, their main aim is that so that this poverty doesn't exist.
Why would they be supportive in this regard? Because the NGOs are directly related to the microfinance lenders. Or are you suggesting that the microfinance lenders who are NGOs are going to run this type of campaign?
There are different types of NGOs. Like
Yes.
one is like the one you say, I think it's Grandman.
Yes.
But there are other types as well who actually who actually help these people, not because.
So why would they be associated with your campaign? What are you doing to engage
Our
them?
campaign is basically to empower these people, these farmers, because they're in a bad condition right now. They're not getting the loans at the right time, and the time when they have to pay back, maybe they don't have the money by that time.
And if I may add to that, sir, if we provide efficient money to these farmers, World Bank detail says that the GDP is double than that of what the GDP of the agricultural sector is double than what of that of public and private sectors of our country. So that will be helping empowering our economy as well.
But this idea is coming from you people, but there are some opinion from the farmers as well. But how you will consider the farmers' opinion, and then how it is convenient to those people, and how you consider that one? The farmers have also some opinion to provide in that, because you people are giving one program that okay, this will be the design of the program, and then in this time, in June, July, this is the time, good time for giving the payment. But they have some other opinion as well. How people will consider those opinions?
So basically, we're making it special by saying that you are the special one, not us, not any one of us, the providers or anyone. You are the real contributor to our GDP. That's how we actually connect to them. We want to connect to them emotionally, because these people live in village emotionally. They work very hard for their living, and they understand what needs to be done.
But these are the poor people, the people who are seeking microfinance, and those are the poor people. But why do you think that what your design is appropriate for the poor people particularly?
First, we'll be educating them. Basically, we're thinking that they don't know about this thing. Of course they don't, but then we are going with our awareness campaign, that is our educating campaign. We are letting them know like the matchbox thing, and then they will be showing them cinema where in interval they will see the video.
Plus, there will be real life examples examples of people who have been successful in these endeavors, people who have benefited from microfinance will come up on stage and will disseminate information on how microfinance can benefit your life as well. There will be people of their own kind speaking to them. People will take their word for it because they're the same people.
And then there is hardship.
Yeah, but thing is that you people are educating those people, but they have also some experience and also some knowledge. Yeah, what you can use also in designing your. But how you people are going to use their knowledge?
Sir, we'll be taking that from and the NGO people will be going from house to house. We'll be talking to those people, like what they need, what are the problems they're facing, what do they want in the like procedure of this microfinance, like how can it be easier. We'll be talking to them and they will let us know.
But you just said that your NGO and your microfinance lender are going to be two separate entities, right?
I say some of the NGOs work as microfinancers and some don't.
Okay. So will you be, again, let me reiterate my previous question. The NGOs that you're going to be recruiting, are they going to be microfinance lenders? How are they going to be associated with microfinance lending? Are they going to be solely working with farmers, or are they working in conjunction with your microfinance venture?
They're going to be focusing on our farmers. They're going to be focusing on our farmers. They will have a minimal association with our microfinance activity, and they will be focusing on our
If I
farmers.
may add to that, the microfinance NGOs who are already there, if they help the farmers, they will make sure that they will be getting the money back. These are the people who are losing their money because the farmers are not being able, for example, something wrong is happening. And even if they are the microfinancer, they will be getting benefit from this.
Basically, both parties are getting benefited from this campaign. So basically,
Even if the NGO is, and like you said, your question was which sector will be focusing, and we can say that both of the sectors will have advantage.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us